this video I'm completely dedicating for the developers who is just starting because
was a kind of a different way, a very unique way, so you can experiment this experience.
even
So
in YouTube and all, also there is no proper guidance to do this creative development. You might have seen, right?
for any website, unique. And then what
Yeah.
I added here was a kind of a gamification element because you have all of these features that are locked, and to unlock them, you need to inspect and then you need to find inside the car. I'm not from a rich like family. I was from middle class, so I had to work to survive. And
Vanakkam, welcome, and Aibuwan to the show. Welcome to Thasanthan. Actually, this is our sixth podcast, I guess, since I have been doing this for almost 4 years, but recently I have continuously doing these stuffs. And today also we have a special guest, Anderson Mancini, but you guys might have confused. Anderson, yeah, we already did a podcast with Anderson, but he is a content creator. But the guy who here is a developer. I don't just say he's a developer because he is super creative developer. I'm gonna show his all of his works, and we're gonna chat about his works and experience. And this video I'm completely dedicating for the developers who is just starting because yeah, this video definitely will give you a futuristic idea about this development industry, especially 3D development. I think he's a pro in that. Three.js, even in WebGL. So yeah, without getting more delay, let's get into the video. Anderson, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
thank you very much. Doing great. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad to be here, and let's chat about the things we love: 3GS, creative development, and all of that.
Great. So Anderson, before we talk about the development, just can you give us a small intro about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a creative developer, I would say, for about 20 years now. So I'm kind of old. Like, I started this like in very early days of the internet. I started doing 3GS, like not 3GS development using Macromedia Flash back on the very like age of the internet. And then I got passionate about it and I never stopped. And I ended up creating a company which is the Nailchicks, the company that I'm founder and the CTO and the CIO, I would say. And yeah, I love this like creative development thing. It's just something that it's in my veins. I would say I need to do it because I love it. And I always wanted to be like a 3D designer, to be honest. I always dreamed to work on like DreamWorks, Pixar, but I had to make money. And this dream had to stay like sleeping for a while. Then I got in touch with 3GS, and then finally I was able to start delivering the things that I love through code instead of through movies. Like on Pixar and things like that, I will be able to do 3D as well, but they will not be interactive. So that's why I love 3GS that much.
Great. So, Anderson, thank you so much for joining and thank you so much for accepting my invite. And I know the first moment I see you is in LinkedIn. The first post I saw about you is like you shared a post about a car customizing website. I think it's there in your Neotix official page. So I just found, I mean, those kind of posts, yes, of course, I'm seeing continuously in the LinkedIn, and I like those kind of creative works. And also, I am also mostly passionate into this creative development because this is home about contact. This the normal thing is there anyone can do. Even we don't need to code something like that. There are lots of tools to do that. But this thing, this creative development, there is no any other tools to do something like this. Of course you have to code, you have to plan it, and you have to sketch it. It's not just about coding, it's about mathematics, I guess. Okay, so that post made me to feel to reach out to you and get him on my interview because not only for my viewers, for me also, I just need a clear clarification on how can we start this journey and what is the exact path to get into your level. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because even I started to get into this thing. I'm a marketer and also I'm a full stack developer. But when I started getting into something like this, I think even in YouTube and all, also there is no proper guidance to do this creative development. You might have seen, right? Even in Udemy courses and everywhere, they were just teaching the basic, but the basic cube development, lighting and stuff, but not the actual thing that you are doing, the customization and the packages, WebGL and everything. So as a first question, so when you start this thing, so have you had a mentor or else did you refer to any specific websites or any specific tutorials? So how did you start at it?
Yeah. So most of our, like my projects, I would say, especially this car configurator one that I recently posted about, uh, like it just started as an idea. And because the background that I have, and I've been doing this for, again, 20 years, I've seen a lot of things, a lot of references. I participated myself in a lot of projects, like different projects. And they allowed me to create something like this out of our like ideas. And I would say the most important part is references. And this kind of thing just not comes from like other websites. It also comes like in my case from games that I've played all my life. I was always passionate, for example, by the Gran Turismo, especially the menus. Gran Turismo menu, it was always like a something that I dreamed creating something like that. But at that time that I was playing Gran Turismo, I wasn't a developer to like to to be honest. So I had this dream, but I said, okay, someday maybe. And then now that I'm in touch with this technology, now I was able to kind of recreate and inspire my project on that idea. So basically, you need both things. You need good references and you need inspiration, and then you can do inspiration in all sorts of websites and all sorts of movies, games in my case, theater, and also you need technical knowledge. And that is one thing that for me took a lot of time because even doing 3GS every day by I would say 5 years now, there are things that I still struggle with. And then I need to learn and I need to do research. And then I say, okay, I can use this for this project. But in my case, I don't plan too much like how the things will go. In this specific case, like in this car project, I had this dream. And for example, for the lens flare, I created the lens flare thinking about this project, but then I got a performance issue and I had to like wait for some help from some other developers. They would look into the code and say, okay, I know how can I optimize this. For example, in that case, Nate, the creator for the NHIO, the
Yeah.
the the ambient occlusion, he was the one that helped with me optimizing my lens flare so I could use on that project. So it took like some time because he's busy, I was busy. So in general, the way you go with a creative development for demo projects, it is like gathering references, improving your technical skills so you can sketchy or imagine something and then start creating it. And sometimes it takes a ton, like some time. But for real projects, for clients projects, this is different because you actually have to respect the client's references and their ideas and their requests and their prerequisites. And I would say in some sort, this is kind of easier because you just need to acquire the technical knowledge to be able to create what they envision, and then you can add your own personal touch. This is what I do. Like when I do this kind of thing for my clients, I put in like in top of everything that clients is requesting, it is like a requirement. I also add my touch to say, oh, this hover can be different. this kind of interaction can be special. And those are the things that make something unique. Like you said, you have a lot of tools and you have a lot of no code tools these days. Creating something unique requires this design eye, this human touch that comes from your personal references. I don't think somebody can teach how to create this. You need to have this passion, like before anything else. And then with this passion, you will like feed yourself with all of those references and all of this technical knowledge to say, okay, I need a Udemy course to do this thing specifically because I can see this teacher can help me with that thing. You grab one piece from one place, one piece from other place, and then you end up with this like portfolio in your mind and this knowledge that you can actually apply into your projects, demo or real projects.
Great, great. So, is it possible for you to share your screen and show some of your best works? I mean, I would like to see your ratings about your work.
Yeah, great. So let me share here.
Yeah, we all can see it.
Awesome,
Whoa,
great. Yeah,
awesome.
so this is, again, my personal website that I recently launched to gather all the things I've been doing because I've been doing this for quite some time. And to be honest, I never stopped to create like a personal website. They were all spread. But the funny thing is, like, there are some of these projects that are actually in the three.js homepage. And what happens? Sometimes people actually find my work, but they don't know that it's mine. So I ended up creating this personal website just to gather everything in one place. So for example, if we go into the threejs.org website, I was fortunate enough to have four projects being like in showcase here. So unique jewelry is mine. The seed selector here is also a project that I created like some while ago. This camera
Whoa,
project is also mine, and this wine blend. So the
that's
first one that I did was actually the wine blend. And
okay.
then the second one that got in feature was the camera, then the unique
Yeah, I
jewelry,
saw
and
it.
then the seat selector.
Yeah, I saw that camera one. It's so cool.
Thank you. I created that, I would say 3 years ago now. But it's
Oh,
a great way to showcase the possibility because that was always my idea. How can I show people the usage of three.js in a very unique way? Because when I started, I was seeing those references. Those guys was a reference to me, and I said, okay, I don't think I can create something like that right now, but I have design eye, and I am a designer, to be honest. Something that I never said here, but my main role is design. This is what I did for most of my life. I started this 3GS and this the creative development career, I would say recently, like about 6, 8 years ago. I always coded using Macromedia Flash, but that I would say is not even considered code because it was a very specific language and it was very specific for Macromedia Flash. Then I had to learn everything else. But this is what I can offer, how I can create something that is unique. For example, can you see my screen yet?
yup.
Okay. So
All
for
can see.
example, here, like if you like what I was trying to present, okay, you have a 3D element, that could be an image, or that could be either a video. So
Yeah,
as you scroll, you can see how clean this thing gets and the transition between materials from this kind of object to this kind of object. So until here, everything could be a video. And
yeah,
then as you scroll again, it is very realistic, but still can be a video. And then when you hit customize, then you hit a point that you say, okay, this cannot be a video anymore because I can interact, I can zoom in. When I try to change the object, I can see in real time all of the changes and I can change materials. And this is something that I'm just passionate about. How can I surprise
yeah,
people? How can I make that specific experience unique? And then you can surprise. Okay, so then you can configure, you can even activate the night mode for the website. And
Yeah.
then when you exit and you go back into all of those pages, it is all remembering your selection. Then in this moment, the user says, okay, there is no way this can be a video or an image. It needs to be something else. So this is
True.
what I like. I love to do. I love to surprise. I love to create unique things. So this is one of like my favorite ones because it can showcase this in a very specific way. Can I show one more?
Yeah, of course, of course. We love to see your work.
Yes, so this one also, like you mentioned, the car configurator, which is
Yeah.
also great. Like we can talk about this one as well. But like one thing that I love about this one, again, it is the usage, like the interesting usage of the technology. Because when we go like
Whoa.
in places to see to select a seat, like to
See.
cinema or theater, it is really boring these days how you can select seats. In this case here, what I created was
Uh,
a kind of a different way, a very unique way, so you can experiment this experience. So you can go here and walk around the entire theater in real time, and then you can sit on that place. And this is using spatial audio. So when you
Super.
sit here, you can
Yeah.
listen to that piano from this place. So you can get a sense before buying how it sounds like from that specific location. And this is unique. This is something that is not possible to replicate with a video or an
Yeah.
image or not using 3D in real time. So this is the kind of thing that I again love doing. Surprise and
Love it.
creating very unique experiences.
Great, 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 great. This is so great, and yeah, all of your works, it has some unique experience. It has some really very unique experiences. Of course, so the to the viewers who are watching this, I'll attach this link in the description. Go and check it out, and take those all as your inspirations and create something more unique.
Yeah.
This is your garage.
Yeah, this is the car project that you mentioned. Like again, inspired by the games that I love. But what I did here to make it unique, like two things. First, again, all of the effects, the way you change colors, because you can either just click and then you have this transition, or you can, for example, drag and drop the
Ah,
colors, and then you have a different effect when you drag and drop than like when you click. Those like small touches are the things that makes like a 3GS or any website unique. And then what
right,
I added here was a kind of a gamification element because you have all of these features that are locked, and to unlock them, you need to inspect, and then you need to find inside the car all of the pieces, and you can rotate around as you are doing it. And once you find all of the pieces, you have confetti to celebrate. Just this confetti component took me like I would say 3 months to learn how to create something like this that is unique, performant, and working in all of together. And then now, for example, you can change car. So you can load another car and you have other features to unlock. So this is a unique way you can present a car configurator together with game elements, gamification elements. So again, that's what I love doing, bringing 3D and games together for the web.
great. This is so great, and uh, this thing like uh, the the way you look into each and everything is totally different. Yeah, I have seen some other places also, like you said, this car configurator and everything is there, but the little touches you gave in the website is so special. So that what really impressed me also. Of course, to the
Mm,
viewers also, they will love it. I'm sure, I'm sure. So I would like to know. So let's take this 3D configurator. So what will be your steps? So steps in the sense I'm not asking the exact steps. What will be the very basic outline of your steps? Like, would you do the lighting first, or would you think about the object first, or how do you start and how do you process it?
Okay. So for vamos, like let's talk about specifically this current configurator because I think it makes more sense. Like the
Yeah.
first thing I had to do was the renderer. So I already have a boilerplate. So I did a lot of projects and I have a boilerplate, basically something that I reuse. And because I'm experienced with this right now, I know how to set up lighting, how to set up the overall environment to look the way I want. This is important. This is an important step. So because I had this out of the way because I already had something like this, then I had to search for models, for 3D models that could match my idea. And then I had to optimize them because they are not optimized for the web. Like they are all free models from Sketchpad and all of the sources and all of the references are there. And thanks again for the guys who created the model. I could create myself. I'm a 3D developer myself, but in this case, that will take a lot of time for me to create the model and to create the experience. So I decided this path, choosing models and then optimizing them. For me, this is the most crucial step. And this is the one thing that most of the 3D developers and creative developers, I would say, because they don't know much about 3D modeling softwares, they miss. And the problem is let me give you an example. On that car project, the performance was really, really bad when I started. And I was trying to figure it out why, because I did everything that I could from a coding perspective to prevent any kind of performance problems. But the performance problems were there. And then I would say, what can be? And then I inspected the model. And inside the model, we had a very small piece of glass using transmission. And what happens in 3GS when we have one single object using transmission on the material? It double renders everything because it needs to calculate transmission. So this is the most crucial thing you need to understand about 3D modeling before you do 3D coding. And if you don't have this core knowledge, you end up missing or maybe giving up because you say, okay, this will never work because the performance is so bad. And usually it is possible, but you need to find workarounds. For example, on that thing, when I enable inspect mode, it is barely noticeable, but I disable everything that is glass related to avoid Z depth and Z sorting on transparency problems. That is a trick. Like it will be very easy to fix with transmission, but transmission will cause performance issues. So you need to find trade-offs to aim what you need. So I would say the step is like for me again thinking about design because that was one important thing for me. But again, I'm a designer myself. I never created. This is funny. I never created that design. So if you ask me, can you show me a Figma file from that design before it existed? I never created. It was live created. I was doing it as I was creating the code, which is kind of crazy. I would not recommend this path. I would recommend creating the design first and then you create the code. But in my case, because I'm experienced and I had a lot of these references in my mind, I was very experimental creating the design, which led me into many versions. So I have 6 or 5 different design versions for that specific project. And I would say this happens with all of my projects. I experiment a lot during the development. It helps me because of the knowledge that I have. But as a reference for like people that are starting, I would say start with the design, get references, put everything together in one place that you can look, and then you can start your own based on the things you saw. And the things you see doesn't need to be all other websites or games. It can be a movie that you can inspire from, like a special effect that you like it, or a special element on the hover on an app that you use. You get all of those things and then you put a design together. Once you have the design, you can research about probably 3D models because the 3D asset is important. It is
Yeah.
important to optimize the 3D asset so you can use those 3D assets without impacting performance. And then you start coding. And that's where the research comes because there are specific things, those small touches that requires technical knowledge or courses or tutorials or chat GPT help sometimes. Another funny fact, the collectible item, like when you collect something on the game that I created on that project, and the item goes into the button on the top right corner, that thing ChatGPT helped with me to create because I had the idea in my mind from a game that I play that I love that effect. But then I said I had no idea how to create this either in three.js or in web development. So I said, let's see if ChatGPT can help me. And it helped. Like, of course, it didn't give me like the exact code. It always requires your personal touch, at least at this moment. But it gave me the core, like the core
Yeah.
way I could implement. And that is so important. That is so helpful. I wish I had this kind of tool when I started. Because when I started doing 3D, like I would say when I started development, we don't even had any kind of course, any kind of YouTube. It was all book based. And the books were teaching very old stuff. So it was really hard to learn at my, like when I started. These days, you can basically either learn or create anything you can imagine with like artificial intelligence. So use that. It is so great.
Great. That's great. So that's all I need to ask about your development side. But I just want to know, so you started as a developer, and then how did you get a mindset to build a business around it and convert it to a large scale business? And it's like this. Of course, we are more technical as a developer. I know that feeling. So we are more technical, but I would say business is not something like that. It's not about technical convincing people, pitching people. I mean, not everyone knows how we knows it. Okay,
Hmm.
so we'll be talking, yeah, this has this much of technical features, but the client, no, I don't understand. They will be in that kind of a mindset. So how did you converted your mindset to a developer, to a marketer, or else uh, yeah, a founder? So
Hmm.
what helps you to go from here to there?
Yeah, I would say basically like necessity. Like I had to because to be honest, I never dreamed the way I will have a company. Like in Brazil specifically, I'm not from a rich like family. I was from middle class, so I had to work to survive.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad for my like for my parents because they were great with me. They paid for my education. So I said I need to do something to help like them. And then I had to work. And because I loved this and I started doing this as a passion, I ended up getting some people saying, what you do seems so interesting. Let me present to some other people to see if they want to pay. And then I got some clients, small ones, saying, I want to do this kind of website. Can you do it? Can you do it at this price? And I said, okay, let's do it. I can do it in my free time. So I had a job, like an actual job in a company, and at the same time, at night, I was working with creative development, at that time using Macromedia Flash. And then I got a point where I had more work in my free time to do than I had on my current job. So I said, okay, now I have an option. I could give up on this entrepreneurship thing and focus on my career, or I can make the jump. And personally, I decided to make the jump. So I said to my brother, because we are two, like I have only one brother, so we are two. I said, I will make this jump, but you need to stay on your work because he's also a creative developer. And I said, I would love you to join me and jump with me in this like new thing. But if we both fail, our family will be destroyed. So please keep your work and I will make the jump. And I'm glad that I did it because I ended up in touch. Like in the beginning, I was just receiving projects and like from other people. They were selling me. And then in one moment, I said, okay, I need to start selling because I need to sell myself my own stuff. I need to sell what I do. And I would say the mindset change happened when I saw myself after the jump not receiving more work. And I said, okay, now I need to do it on my own. And then I look at everything that I had to say, what are the differentials? What are the things that I can say that are unique, that I can like potentially convince people that I'm good and I can help them? And then I started knocking on doors. So at that time, what I did, and I would say I still do this a lot. I go into some kind of company or some kind of product that I like, and I go into their website and I look and I said, okay, maybe I could do this, this, and this to make it better. And instead of telling them what I can do, I actually do it. I go, I code, I implement, and then I share, saying, we could do this for your project. What do you think about? Even if they say no thanks, we will never change. I have something that I can showcase to other potential clients. So I still do this a lot of demos. Most of the projects that you saw, they were constructed with this mindset. What can I create that would be a possibility for a company to use? And the good thing is that not only not only I can do it, but now because it is so public, other people can actually do the same with my work, which happens quite often. Like I receive people saying somebody else presented your work to me, and now I want to work with you because they were saying they did it, but I saw your name there, so I want to work with you. So that is great anyway. So my tip is always make real projects in your mind. Think
True.
like you what you are doing for that company as they were hired you already, and then you will do great stuff.
That's
If you
great.
have
That's
free
great.
time, again, like just to point out, this can be silly sometimes because it is easier for me because I already have a career, I already have a company, so I can do it because I have free time and I have my life solved. So for someone that is starting, they have time, but they don't have money. So they need to work also towards the money. I did it in my free time. So I had to find a job and then I did this in my free time. But again, I don't want to sound silly. I said, okay, you can do it. This is perfect. And then where the money comes from. So I'm aware of this, but it is possible.
True. That's true. And your journey is so inspiring because you're from a middle class family, and yeah, this is kind of a crazy thing. Uh,
Yeah,
so outside of your works and all, so what are the hobbies and what are the things you do completely apart from the things you do in your business?
awesome. Yeah, there are, I would say, two things that I love doing most. Uh, One is, of course, gaming. I love play games. So this is totally connected with what I do. So
Yeah.
this is not a good example because for
Hmm.
me, it is like a pleasure. But in some sort of, sometimes I feel that I'm working because I'm playing the game. Look at all of the shaders and all of the effects that I can replicate using 3GS. So it's kind of annoying, but I love it. I can't stop. And another thing, it is like meditation. For me, this helped me like so much, and I still do it. Not quite often as I should, and I wish I could have more time to do it. But when I have free time, this is something that I love. And this can either be seated or sometimes I do it walking. Just focus in the present moment. Because these days, everything is so stressful, everything is so intense. It is
Yeah.
very like it's easy to forget about the things that are really important in our life and
Yeah.
how life is so fragile. And meditation brings us back to the present moment to remind how unique we are and how good life is if you can just breathe and be in the present moment with yourself. So this helps me a lot. So those are, I would say, two things that I love most. Of course, I do other stuff like theaters, movies, like again, gym, those things like are great. But for me, the most two important ones are gaming and meditation.
Great. And yeah, it's like this session is something very eye-opening session for me actually, because right, I also into this full stack development, and also with these things, but also I'm into business and marketing. And it's sometimes it's so hard when we are into business and also development. It's hard to manage the personal life. So if we be on just one job, it's okay, it's fine. But when we be in, I mean, several things, like when we multitasking, it's so hard. But like you said, meditation is something, yeah, that really helped me also. Even I tried at many times, but I can't lie here, I'm not following it continuously. But whenever I get time, I do meditation and some workouts also. That's helping me a lot. So thank you so much for Anderson joining today. And definitely this is not going to be his last podcast. I'm looking forward for more sessions with him, and more very specific topic oriented sessions with him. Yeah, thank you so much. And to all the listeners, and also Anderson, I have requested you, I think, 2 days before, and he is here today. I think this dedication and the mindset that brought him here today, I guess. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Anderson. We'll see you
Thank
all
you.
in the another podcast. And stay curious and keep innovating. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.